Who would have thought in 2022 we would be comparing Outbreak Perfected versus Bad Juju and deciding which one of these pulse rifles is the better pulse rifle? And what's even crazier is that these pulse rifles are both really, really good. With the most recent changes to pulse rifles in update 4.1.0, not only did you get an increase in damage fall off near distance, but also an increase in far distance. So from across the board, range did get bumped up for pulse rifles. Now, I had previously stated that pulse rifles had a 40-meter range cap. That is not the case. That is just the fall off far distance cap, meaning where damage stops losing damage fall off. Now, both Bad Juju and Outbreak Perfected fall under the lightweight archetype. These are 450 round per minute pulse rifles. And yes, they got a buff not only in their body shot damage from 15 to 16, but also in their precision damage from 24.75 to 26.4. I know it's showing 27, but that's just the weird nature of rounding inside of Destiny. Granted, this doesn't actually change the TTK value inside of PvP. You're still roughly looking at a 0.8 second time to kill value. What it does change though is of course the forgiveness, really only requiring 6 crits to body against Guardians 5 resilience or less. Granted, a lot of people are rocking higher resilience these days, so 7 crits in one body. Either way, it's forgiving. And this little small bump there in damage has actually made a big difference on top of the range bump overall. And weapons like Bad Juju and Outbreak Perfected, which were pretty much all but forgotten in the previous seasons, are now making a run at the meta, which again blows my mind. Now, a quick recap of both of these weapons. Bad Juju, we'll start with that one, comes with the perk String of Curses, where kills refill the magazine. It also has an increase in damage with every single kill stacking up to 5 times, and it grants super energy, more super energy with every kill because of String of Curses. Also, kills refill the magazine, so even though it does have a small mag size, you're auto refilling the mag with every single kill, which easily allows you to gain those multi-kills. And actually, the super energy that you gain is based on the strength of the String of Curses. Oh, the weapon also fires in full auto. Now, damage-wise, inside of PvP, String of Curses actually gives you a 12% bump there in damage for the first stack, 20% at the second stack, 32% at third stack, 40% at fourth stacks, and 52% at 5. It's even crazier inside of PvE. That amps up even more. It goes 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100%. Needless to say, guys, Bad Juju. It's got some juju, man. And someone even call it good juju now, or even great juju, meta juju. And the weapon comes with some other perks. Steady rounds, which really bumps up that stability all the way up to 77. Stability does make a difference in how you combat flinch. It also comes with hipfire grip, which I know is a weird one on a pulse rifle, but there were times that I did take advantage of the hipfire. You just can't do it like BXR, right? Like, don't get out there at 20 meters and try to hipfire with Bad Juju. It's not gonna work out for you. However, for my time here with Bad Juju, this weapon really does have it all. Like, really, full auto, extremely stable, a perk that feeds you super energy, and in a sandbox where all of our supers has had their durations increase, this makes a difference. I was securing 2 supers every single game, easily with Bad Juju. And that's simply because String of Curses is contributing to that. On top of that, the damage buff is also very nice. And for the occasional moments where someone is rushing me and I have to hip fire, Bad Juju also saves us there. Now, stat-wise, it also comes with an 85 recoil direction, which is pretty vertical. Aim assist is sitting at 60. And as far as damage fall off, that doesn't really begin for Bad Juju until 35 meters, which is pretty good. And it's like right up there with like a max range road horse lease. So overall, I was really impressed with Bad Juju and what we experienced with it. I think it's in the best shape that I've ever seen it in this sandbox. And if you got the exotic catalyst on Bad Juju, this of course extends the duration of String of Curses, allowing for even more ease of use. Bad Juju, fellas, it's got it going on. However, let's talk about Outbreak Perfected. Now, before somebody crucifies me about not having the exotic catalyst for Outbreak Perfected, listen, I just got Outbreak Perfected on this account. And I know, Cross, you play this game all the time. How the hell did you not have Outbreak Perfected? I did at one time on my Battle.net account. The account you see me playing with these days, though, is my PlayStation account that I brought over from PlayStation because it was my original account. And that's what I've used to set up with cross-save. Needless to say, I never really went out of my way to get Outbreak Perfected until here recently, because of course now it's meta, which is unfortunate because I would love to have the exotic catalyst right now. I know it drops from core playlists, but it's RNG. But essentially the catalyst actually increases your nanite damage. Enemies that die with nanites attached to them generate additional nanites. You can imagine the potency here, especially when you tag groups of enemies. Now, the exotic perk on this weapon is the Corruption Spreads. The weapon creates Siva nanite swarms on rapid hits and precision kills. And its trait, Parasitism, actually increases damage that you do to enemies based on the number of Siva nanites that you attach to them. A lot of people actually use Outbreak Perfected during the day 1 raid and the second encounter against the Caretaker because everyone was out of ammo by the time they got to the 3rd phase of that damage. Therefore, Outbreak Perfected, because it changed so well in teams of people with those nanites and such, this was allowing teams to finish this encounter. counter. A very good PvE weapon. What a lot of people don't know is how good of a PvP weapon this thing is. I personally like this ornament the most. I think it just is so clean right here. I don't care for the Trials ornament, but Outbreak Perfected with this clean sight and just the feedback of the weapon, it's one of the most satisfying weapons to use. Outbreak Perfected, when you get those precision kills, it gives you that little noise, man. That's like, yo, you did that, man. And that's essentially it spawning those nanites, right? It's a beautiful noise. And something about it is addicting. I'm serious, guys. It's like a dopamine kick with every single precision kill. You want to go for precision kills just so you can hear Outbreak Perfected purr. And fellas, I live for that purr. Outbreak Perfected essentially has the same time to kill as Bad Juju at 0.87 seconds. Same forgiveness, but it kicks it up a notch. Its aim assist is slightly higher at 65, but its range definitely outweighs that of Bad Juju. We're talking a comparison of 64 range versus 40, thus giving Outbreak Perfected here a damage fall off beginning at 38 meters, which is really good. On top of that, Outbreak, despite it having less stability, in my opinion, seems to combat flinch better than Bad Juju. I don't know what it is about Bad Juju, but especially like side fire, Juju just loses its stuff, man. And this is where like the whole stability debate with Bungie and the way recoil works, as well as Flinch Resist, gets kind of weird, because even though Outbreak Perfected has less stability than that of Bad Juju, to me, it just counters flinch better. And I saw this multiple times in duels where Outbreak Perfected was snagging those kills. On top of that, snagging shots with Outbreak is really good. Now the weapon sits at 90 recoil direction, so it is a tighter, more vertical angle here, but it does have some slight left drift in that recoil direction, although hardly noticeable. Now you saw us pair it here recently with Chromatic Fire. This is a crazy combination. Essentially, Chromatic granting you explosion kills with kinetic weapon precision kills that's tied to your subclass. And we're gonna have some builds on that one in the future. But this explosion damage really chains heavily against targets that are standing close together. And in this sandbox, where everyone is really starting to kind of drive back into team play, exotics like Chromatic Fire is really good. Chromatic Fire, Cloud Strike, anything to really just bust up groups of enemies that like to stay too close to each other. And Outbreak combined with Chromatic is extra nasty because Outbreak spawns nanites. So if the explosion doesn't kill the targets, the nanites will. And had I had the exotic catalyst, this would be even better, as this would have spawned even more nanites upon those kills. Needless to say, guys, it's disgusting. But we're not comparing builds right now. We're simply comparing pulse rifles. Overall, my experience with both of these pulse rifles, which are very, very good in the sandbox, and I'm so proud that these pulse rifles actually can compete. But if I had to choose one to carry me inside of PvP and in PvE, as of now, I would probably still go with Outbreak Perfected. It's just too good, guys. Those Siva nanites, the audio feedback that you get from it, the way it works with your teammates, the nanite kills inside of PvP, even though Bad Juju literally has everything you could ever want on an exotic. More super, full auto, damage buffs, Outbreak Perfected brings a level of consistency that will win you ones every single time. And with those nanites, this allows you to chain those multi-kills even better than that of Bad Juju. Don't get me wrong, I like Bad Juju a lot. And some would even say Bad Juju is the superior weapon. Hell, even my own editors think Bad Juju's the better weapon. But my experience yesterday, especially considering in the later half of the day we were going up against harder opponents, Outbreak was showing how much better of a weapon it actually is. Its ability to grab those shots, even outside of that damage fall off range, is a testament to the range bump that hit pulse rifles and of course the default range that's here on Outbreak Perfected. No, it's not the furthest reaching pulse rifle, but 38 meters is still very solid. For most maps, you're pretty much always going to be hitting full damage with Outbreak Perfected. And when it comes to actually dueling against opponents, even outside of that optimal range, Outbreak still does a phenomenal job. Something that Outbreak has that I don't think Bad Juju has, and maybe some of you can attest to this, Outbreak does do some weird funky flinch whenever it hits opponents. Like when you're getting hit by a Bad Juju, it feels like a normal gun. When you're getting hit by Outbreak Perfected, you're feeling it, man. Like that weapon has got some punch to it, almost like it has intrinsic high cal. Maybe it has something to do with Siva nanites. Maybe it's the eargasms that this audio feedback keeps giving me, and I'm just blinded by love. I don't know. Regardless, Outbreak possesses the superior dueling capabilities and would be my go-to choice, guys, amongst our exotic lightweights. And I would actually even go a step further and say that Outbreak Perfected can compete against the best of them. It can compete against No Time to Explain, Peace of Mind, Insidious, New Purpose, Horus Lease, BXR. It has the capability to go head-to-head against all those weapons. And honestly, Bad Juju does too. But there are some moments with Bad Juju where I notice whether it's due to its inability to combat flinch well, maybe it's its reticle that's messing me up, or maybe it's because I hate the way it sounds. A lot of contributing factors here to why I choose Outbreak over Bad Juju. But really, you can't go wrong with either one of these these weapons. So guys, try it out for yourselves. For once, these lightweight pulse rifles, these exotic ancient relics that many of us don't even remember, are actually good. Use them, play with them, because metas like these don't come around often. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.